I'm Alice Toop. I'm an Associate Solicitor in the Dispute Resolution team at Still Raymond, specialising in construction disputes. This series is all about adjudication and how that process may benefit your business in resolving any construction disputes. If you are considering referring a dispute to adjudication and you decide that that's what you want to do, you will need to send a notice of adjudication to the other party to the dispute. However, before you do that, there are 5 things that you will need to consider. The first point you'll need to consider is that you will need to establish the right to refer the dispute to adjudication. There are some contracts which will require parties to give serious consideration to other forms of alternative dispute resolution first, such as the JCT industry standard contract requires both parties to seriously consider using mediation, which is a different form of alternative dispute resolution, before the parties then consider adjudication. The second point is that you will need to ensure that your dispute has crystallised, and this means that you will need to have written to the other party to the dispute, setting out the basis of your claim and what you are seeking. The third consideration is that you will need to look at whether your dispute is appropriate to be resolved through adjudication. So for example, if you have an incredibly large, complex dispute, then you may feel that the quick process of adjudication, which is usually only 28 days, may not be appropriate to deal with the vast complexity of your dispute. You will need to look at the procedural rules which govern your adjudication, and for example, they may be referred to in your construction contract. And you will need to ensure that you comply with all of those rules from the very beginning of the adjudication process, and that may include complying with any time limits that may be set out within those rules. The final consideration is that you will need to consider how you are actually going to define your dispute in the notice of adjudication. That's very important because you want to ensure that all of the issues that are in dispute can actually be dealt with during the adjudication process. These are all of the points that you will need to give very careful consideration to before you actually kick off the adjudication process, which is when you will be drafting and sending the notice of adjudication to the other party or parties in the dispute.